Now, the increase comes during a very busy weekend in the Magic City with the Great American Hill Climb and MontanaFair's opening on the Metro Park grounds. The fair has made changes with safety at the forefront of them all. Q2's David J. shows us more.
Practically everything has changed in terms of where things are located, how much spacing, the different rules. We're just excited to finally get the chance to have an event again at Metro Park.
Metro Park Marketing Director Ray Massey says management has been making changes to MontanaFair plans for 4 months.
The local health department, as well as the carnival operator, as well as all our vendors, and we put it all together to put on a fair this year.
The decision to hold the fair started with giving 4-H and FFA kids an opportunity to show their animals.
That gave us a chance to really get down to the core of what the fair is all about, which is agriculture. Ag is essential.
These kids have been raising animals for a year, so that became our primary focus at that point. Can we actually at least pull that off?
Commissioner Pittman says it was determined the fair could be done safely, even with an increase in COVID-19 test results.
We're not seeing that catastrophic event following some of these larger things as people prepare to go back to school. I look at it as a way of trying to mentally prepare people to re-enter into some of this.
Pittman and Massey say additions were made, including the Mighty Thomas Carnival.
A lot of cancellations in fairs, and so we were available, and if there's crowds at all, if we can spread them out between more time, then we have fewer issues with large groups of people.
John Hanchin, Thomas Carnival president, talked about some of the safety precautions.
They'll have a mask when they get to the fairgrounds, saying wash your hands frequently as often as you can, and we've got those machines here to do. If you want to have rubber gloves to play a game or to have food, they're available here if you don't bring some along. Family groups can ride together on a ride. Ride operators have mild chemical that cleans the surfaces after each ride.
We've got a responsibility to provide a clean, safe environment. People have a responsibility to behave appropriately while they're here.
We normally get 225 to 240,000 people at Montana Fair every year. We don't expect that this year. We have a limit on the grounds of 3,000 people at any one time. That way we can handle it, keep you distanced appropriately, and keep you as safe as we know how.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Thank you, David. Massey suggests buying Montana Fair tickets online and says the Montana Fair Facebook page will have hourly updates on how close attendance is to that 3,000 person number. Now, one of the most important tools for stopping a COVID-19 outbreak in a busy area is contact tracing. It allows authorities to isolate those who have been infected near an infected person. Now, the process is being aided by technology that most of us already carry, and it's showing results in Europe. CBS's Chris Livesay has the story.
In the United States, coronavirus is spreading like wildfire, and Melissa Thomas is stomping out the embers.
I'm calling on behalf of the New Haven Health Department.
Her mission is to break the chain of infection by making a list of everyone who encountered a patient, as she told CBS News back in May, then urging anyone who is exposed to get tested.
But imagine you're in a crowded street and let's say I have coronavirus. How could I possibly notify all of these people once my test results come back? Well, the idea is with an app, you wouldn't have to.
Contact tracing apps are already being used here in Italy, Germany, and around Europe, thanks to a rare collaboration by both Google and Apple. The tech is free for any country to use to develop its own app. Using your phone's Bluetooth signal, it can detect other phones that have also downloaded the app. If two users come close enough, the phone records the data. Then later, if one of them tests positive for coronavirus, the other will be notified. Of course, that's if the other person also has the app. Markus Beckdahl writes about tech in Germany. He, like most Germans, was skeptical at first.
Privacy is a very strong value.
Even before Germany, South Korea and Singapore started using exposure notification, but far more invasively. Those countries link infections to your identity, whereas the technology developed by Google and Apple does not. There's no government database. It's just phones talking to phones. But so far, the U.S. isn't using it. Dr. Tom Frieden, the former director of the CDC, says there's no federal requirement to contact trace.
In the U.S., we've really lacked a clear national strategy.
Frieden also cautions that apps cannot replace traditional contact tracing.
But the really ambitious idea requires that a large proportion of people opt into that app, requires that the Bluetooth signal works where you're at, and requires that you don't have false positives and false negatives.
Chris Livesay, Rome.
Germany is one of the most enthusiastic countries about the new app, which has been downloaded by roughly 20% of the population. Meanwhile, with supplies running low, the Lockwood Fire Department hosted Vitalant for a blood drive in their community room today. Vitalant says they are currently in need of all types of blood, and that the blood gathered at drives such as this supply 30 locations in Montana and Wyoming. This equates to a need of at least 150 donations each day to meet demands. Donation numbers typically decline during summer months and have dropped even further in light of COVID-19. Today, however, they were impressed by turnout and ended up with multiple blood types and varieties of products such as plasma and platelets. Vitalant says donating blood is not only beneficial for others, it can help you track your own health.
A mini health checkup, and we check all your blood pressure, we check your temperature twice, we check out your hemoglobin levels, make sure that all of your blood levels look really good, and then we also do a cholesterol check after the donation so they can get a nice little checkup and see how you're doing afterwards too. And it's nice to track that long term if you donate a lot, so you can kind of track your patterns and see if anything new comes up, and it's just a nice little way to keep track of your health.
Next week, Vitalant will host Montana's biggest blood drive Wednesday through next Sunday at their location on the corner of Grand and 15th Street West. Switching gears, a 17-year-old Fort Smith girl